Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I know it's a beautiful day outside, so thank you for taking a few, about 40 minutes out of your afternoon to join us this afternoon. And this presentation is going to be a good one. It's called Making the Case for Mobile, and it's tips for marketing that's mobile friendly. So thank you. We know that mobile and the use of mobile in business are a big topic these days, and we're happy to have you here as we pull together what we think will be some very helpful information and tips as you think about mobile for your small business. So we know that you're thinking today about what you can do to build tomorrow's success, and we hope to give you just a few things to think about with respect to mobile and how you can start taking advantage of mobile today. So quick information, I'll take a second to introduce myself. My name is Danna Crawford, and I am an authorized local expert with Constant Contact and a certified business consultant trained by eBay, and I've been in the eBay business for 18 years. You can contact me if you want to follow up. If you want to reach out following this session at dannacrawford@gmail.com, send me an email, find me on Facebook, or reach out on Twitter. Now this should give you a quick intro about Constant Contact. At Constant Contact, it's our business, and they make it their business to understand your business. So your business is their passion and providing tools that get you great results. So you can get back to work, whether you're looking to engage or grow your audience, drive sales or donations, or increase your brand awareness. Their tools are designed for success. So they put all of their tools into one place, which allows you to create campaigns that adapt to your challenging goals or your changing goals. And with those tools, you can easily send newsletters, run a Facebook promotion, manage events, get feedback, and more. So you sync the tools you already use, like Google Analytics, Facebook, and Salesforce with your campaigns as well. Because it's fast and easy to create beautiful campaigns with their customized templates and track opens, clicks, purchases, and more with real-time reporting, it ends up being time well spent. So if you have any questions, I'll be available after the presentation, and I will help you even more to help you get your business on track. So we know that you want to connect with your audience everywhere, and that's what matters. That means that you want to be all the places your customers are: email, social media, web, mobile, and in person. You want to track your interactions with easy contact management, so you can make sure the right people get the right message. So imagine what you could do for your business if you never missed a chance to connect with your clients, your customers, and the member. So I know today I'm just giving you some great insights, but it's all about your success. So over the years, Constant Contact has put together an amazing team of people ready to share their marketing expertise for free. And they are delivering seminars just like this one that I'm doing online as a webinar. So with that said, let's jump into today's topic. So first, I'm going to lay out what we're going to do today in a moment. But first, I want to get right to the point. Some of you listening today, whoops, just missed my screen. Some of you listening today noted in your registration that you're already sold or I'm in and just want some tips. We'll get to those later. And there are a lot of comments about needing help, making the case to others in your organizations to go mobile. Well, here are the 3 stats that ought to help you do that pretty quickly. So simply put, your customers are using mobile devices a lot, and these statistics alone should be enough to make the case and convince convince them that it's time to start thinking about how your business has to build mobile. So this is our agenda. We're going to go through You Can't Ignore Mobile, Your Business in Mobile, What to Do Today, and then we'll have a quick review. So you can't ignore it, and that's really the main topic. Simply put, your customers are using mobile devices a lot, and these statistics alone should be enough to make the case and help convince you that it's time to start thinking about how your business has to build mobile into its strategy. So if you need to walk away right now, I hope this helps make your case. Mobile is becoming increasingly a seamless part of our life. 40% of Americans under 35 use a mobile device to make a donation. 50% used a mobile device to browse nonprofit websites and emails. Local search, simply put, %75 used a phone to get real-time location-based information. And I do have backup to all of these statistics. I will be happy to share. 90% of mobile searches lead to an action. 90%. 70% who ran a local search via a mobile device acted within 1 hour. So they purchase, they shop, they buy online. 70%. You can't ignore these numbers. 50% of email is opened on a mobile device. 50%. Now, these stats are based on U.S. population. So I know you've got an international audience today, and I can tell you that the trends are moving in similar directions across the globe. 80% of users delete mobile emails that don't look good on their device. So if they get an email and it's hard for them to read, chances are they're going to delete it. So just think, that's only 1, 2, 3, 4 of those emails are getting read. 30% of users unsubscribe from email lists after receiving a mobile email that doesn't look good. 30%. So you can see that these sources are coming from Blue Hornet. This is where we gathered this information. Your business and mobile. This is what we're going to talk about next. So if you found yourself wondering, should I be figuring out mobile for my organization? Or saying, I don't need to worry about it, my business or my customers don't fit mobile? Well, we're going to shed some light on what other small businesses and nonprofits have already figured out. So since we've been listening to and talking with our customers, over 600,000 small businesses are members of Constant Contact, and they've talked to them about mobile and they've done surveys. So it's at this point where we usually get the question, how are small businesses using mobile? They've seen the numbers like the ones we just showed you, and they're quickly moving to understand and respond on how to impact them. Not only are they seeing the numbers, a lot of them have already begun incorporating mobile into their businesses and strategies. So in this next section, we're going to take a look at some of the ways in which businesses are facing mobile head-on and that you could consider. And we'll address a couple of the things we hear when small businesses push back a little bit. We recently conducted a survey of our customers to uncover how they've been using mobile. So we found that a clear majority of them, 66%, are using mobile for their businesses. And that does mean, however, that a bit more than 1/3 of small businesses are not. What reasons are given by the other 34%? So let's take a look. We hear that 34% are not using mobile, and that might include some of you. Here are the top 3 reasons they're not using mobile for their business. Number 1, quite simply, 65% say they have no plans to adapt mobile in the future. 56% cite a lack of customer demand. Now, this is part of this 34%. And 28% say mobile isn't relevant to my industry or business. This last one makes some sense. It may not immediately be clear how mobile could be applied within some industries, which got Constant Contact to thinking, what industries out there might not completely come to mind, like a lot of businesses to consumer businesses, as leveraging the growth of mobile. So here are 4 that they found. Hope Hummus, as the name suggests, a food manufacturer, and they sell through distributors, grocery stores, supermarkets. They have a mobile website that focuses on showing people how to connect through social media, and most importantly, provide a button, Find Hope, to start a local search for Hope Hummus. Wheels Manufacturing is a small manufacturer of bicycle parts, and they sell through distributors. Their emails offer insights into new products coming, and even on a mobile device, their brand is prominent. Next, we have Funnel Innovations. Funnel, hello. It's Funeral Innovations. It's a small startup in the funeral service industry, and they provide innovative technical solutions to their partners. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. One of their solutions provides QR codes to be placed on materials, directing those that can scan the code a mobile site, allowing for relations of the deceased to leave memories or photos and to get information about upcoming services. And next we have Liberty Tax. Liberty Tax is a franchise and a provider of tax preparation services. So in this email, there's a clear call to action place where it can be easily accessed by someone viewing the email on a mobile phone. For now, we're not looking at how these businesses did or did not follow mobile best practices. We're focused on the fact that across industries, you might not have expected mobile is becoming part of the toolkit to work with customers. So in short, if mobile is coming to the 2 absolutes in life, then it's likely not far from your business. So I mentioned earlier that there are a lot of questions from the registration form that I had before where we're about how to convince others in the organization to embrace mobile. So here are 4 pushbacks you're likely to hear in a comment, excuse me, and a comment on each of why this should be more speed bump than roadblock on your way to adopting mobile. So the first one is we're a nonprofit and we don't sell products. Nonprofits are starting to experiment with accepting donations via mobile devices. Square, there are limitations, but new ideas are being tested. So nonprofits could also benefit for the tools of mobile phones and tablets that make running events even easier, apps for checking in attendees, and certainly apps for taking pictures, capturing video, and distributing them via social media live during the event. Now, I'm actually part of a nonprofit working with the food bank in Ocala, and we take donations and we have it set up on mobile devices. And I'm going to be running a big campaign next month, so I'd be happy to share with you guys how it's going to work on the mobile devices. We're also highly regulated by the government. You might not use mobile to exchange sensitive information, but your emails help you to remain in touch with your clients and to stay on top of mind. So it's a communication consideration. In fact, the U.S. government, including the Pentagon, has started building out security and management solutions for mobile technology and making it easier for government contractors to reach officers and any available operating platform, which it is iOS or Android. Mobile would be best for my particular product. We've heard that as well. You may not sell your product via mobile, but you could consider mobile as a channel for communicating to your customers about your product. You can take pictures and send those. Can you create excitement and drive people to visit your store? Do you have a mobile optimized website that you could direct people to go through emails and posts? So there are also ways to collect information like email addresses from the people you meet. Think about events or conferences. You could have them text to join your email list or scan a QR code on your business cards, etc. So here are some examples of, oops, I skipped that one. Here we go. Here we're going to have some examples of how small businesses are embracing mobile in their efforts to connect with their audience. So the NB Fitness Club shows that sometimes the use case for mobile and a small business can be pretty simple. They had to communicate a change in their hours over the holiday. Perfect example of a great communication for mobile. Outside of the small font, it's a focus message, branded and easy to get that information across from a mobile device. So here is Alex's Lemonade Stand. This is a nonprofit that is considered mobile as it's built an email announcement about an upcoming event. Notice how easy to locate the call to action button and the use of good images located after the most important information and the call to action. The South Grove PTA exercise a best practice and create simple messages easy to digest on a mobile device with a clear call to action. Click the link in the second one. And so again, in this example of Bloco, a chain of burrito restaurants announces their Mother's Day promotion with a simple email. As the first one here, the text could be larger. We'll mention that in a few minutes. But notice the simplicity. None of these involved hours of brainstorming around a conference room table. What you see here are small businesses thinking and working at building mobile into their communication strategies. They're doing this because they realize something that eventually all businesses will. You don't get to decide which device people use to access your content. They do. Once you recognize this, I mean really recognize this is a foundational level, you'll be ready to see. It's about the success of your efforts to communicate with your customers or supporters and the success of your efforts to connect with them where they are, because they are most certainly connecting with their worlds via mobile. So we've shown you how mobile has become prevalent in the world around us, and we've shown you how mobile is an increasingly important tool in the toolbox of small businesses. Now we want to show you 5 tips for what you can do today to start preparing for taking advantage of mobile. Tip number 1, avoid using too much text. And this same thing goes for all you eBay sellers out there, because that's another thing. People put too much text and they put tiny little text. But too much text, think about it. Do you want to read a long and complex message on your phone when you're on the go? No. So which means either do your customers or supporters. Neither do they. So do you want to read a message like this one here? Probably not. What you want to see is something more like this one. This is the result of some basic considerations. Starting to rethink your content. Long-form content. Think newsletters that have more than a couple of short, to-the-point paragraph doesn't work for mobile readers. So look at the content you're building and start to rethink. Could it be condensed? Can a picture tell a story better? Can you turn one newsletter into a series of newsletters, cutting it into pieces? So keep this in mind. If you have longer or more complex content or assets that you want to share, like a product guide or a new regulation for your clients or a research report the supporters of your nonprofit would be interested in, send an email with a clear call to action that directs people to where the asset lives, either on your website or your blog, and then you could direct them to a PDF. That would be a better workaround. So tip number 2 is avoid using multiple columns. Prior to the rise of mobile and mobile communication, emails had started to take on almost website-like feel, with multiple columns and navigation elements similar to what you find on websites. But with mobile communications driving content to be more focused and also just to fit more physically condensed space, multiple columns cause problems. So here are 2 examples of what can happen. In this first one, you can see how the mobile email client has tried to figure out what to do with the columns, and it has squished them together in a less than optimal way. So they have them squished. In this example, the email has been forced into a single column. So when you pull that up on your phone, it pulls it into a single column. But clearly that process has also created an ungainly single column that will make the email practically unreadable. Tip number 3, clear and easy calls to action. You want to make it easy for your readers to take an action, to do something that keeps them connected to you. Come to your website or your event registration, click through to a white paper you wrote, learn more about your services. You can increase the odds of them taking that action by carefully thinking through the design of your emails. Let's look at 2 examples of how not to do it and one way to make it easier. So in this example, there are calls to action, but they're hard to see and would be even harder to get a finger or thumb hit on that easily. So in this one, the calls to action are probably easier to get clicked on, but because they're bunched together, the likelihood that the reader would be able to click on, whoops, let me go back, missed it, come on. So it's really important that you don't have them bunched, because what happens is when you build them all into tightly into the email, then of course they're hard to read and hard for people to click. It gets very confusing. So tip number 4, avoid using tiny fonts, and I teach this in my eBay workshops. Avoid tiny fonts. I like number 18 in the eBay description box. I'm old now, and I like to be able to read my stuff, and other people can read it easily without hardcore readers. So number 4, Avoid using tiny font. This would seem to be pretty self-explanatory, but it is no less important. Here's an example with 9-point font. Yes, a lot of text fits on the screen, but who can read it? People will need to pinch to zoom the text and then have to scroll around. They're more likely to delete the message as well as unsubscribe from future small fonted emails. This one is a bit better as the font starts to reach the minimum size that we'd recommend. So they recommend 11 points for body text and 22 for bullet headline, and start to bring greater contrast between the text and the background, but it's still hard to read. So now you can see when we pull it up, it's better. Tip number 5. Continue. Where is it? Use images carefully. Images are a great way to convey a message, tell a story, create a connection, but if you don't carefully consider how you're going to use images, you might end up with some unintended consequences that lead at best to someone not reading your email. At worst, they'll unsubscribe from your list and you won't be able to communicate with them at all. So here's a common consideration. Notice the red X on the left. That's there because some mobile email client may not display the images by default. So be sure that you're using what is called alt text. That's ALT space TEXT, alt text, or text that appears in the image doesn't, to at least let people know what's there. In this example, there's a great picture, the promotional poster used for a fundraiser, and when viewed on a desktop email client, it may look great. But the problem is, even on a mobile device, in order to see it, to the rest of the message, the reader will have to scroll the message. Notice that the image has pushed the call to action all the way to the bottom of the message, making it less likely that the reader will actually click through it. And finally, be aware on how an image may appear. You may need to resize images as you build your email. A lot of email marketing tools have simple built-in imaging editing capabilities. So before you send any messages out to your customers or supporters, test the email by sending it to yourself and then view it with your readers in mind and make changes accordingly. A few extra minutes of testing can save you a lot of headaches later. And I've learned that the hard way. Bonus tip number 1. Don't ignore local search. Okay, so remember when we said there's so much out there about mobile that it's hard to narrow down? Well, we had a hard time doing that for this section, so we've got some bonus tips for you. The first one is to make sure you keep local search in mind. If you're a restaurant, a retailer, a product, or something that people are likely to search for as they are out and about, there are a lot of listing services and apps out there that give small businesses the ability to get found. So here are just 3 examples. Yelp is one of the most popular location-based services with lots of different categories available for people to search on. So it can search by location, providing a map of the options available in the area where the search takes place. Urban Spoon is another focused on finding dining options. As with the most of these apps, patrons can leave a review or a photo, and there is an easy access to directions and phone numbers. Like we showed earlier, more and more mobile phone users are searching for information about local businesses through their phones, and they often act on those searches almost immediately. So if you're not listing your business or services everywhere you can, you're missing opportunities. Spend some time to look over services like Yelp, yellow pages, online, etc., and claim your name, claim your listing. Make sure that at a minimum you'll show up in searches when someone is looking for a service like yours. You can also seek out tools like Single Platform by Constant Contact, which allows you to update your information in one place and have that update flow out to all of the most popular tools and sites. So when people search for you, you'd love to have the top listing on one of those search engines, or make sure your business flag shows up on the map like the one shown here. Bonus tip number 2, don't turn the phones off. Now, I get a kick out of this because when I've learned not to ask my people to turn their phones off. And I see it at events all the time. I was just in Vegas, and other speakers were kind of poking fun of the phone, or I heard people ask them to shut the phone off. So unlike at the start of movies in a theater, lecture hall, in a large hall, or perhaps in church, you shouldn't ask your customers, supporters, or even attendees to turn off their phones. Phones have become an extension of how people experience the world and how they share that experience with others. So they take pictures, they post them to different channels, sometimes in real time. And along with that picture and that post comes a great endorsement. So mobile phones also enable social media posts, tweets, messages. It's all right there at an individual's fingertips. So these are 2 examples are from Instagram. Pictures were posted by customers offering emotional connections to the experiences that those customers were having. So in this one, you can see tweets from customers endorsing a product, an endorsement being shared with their network, networks filled with individuals that might become that business' next customer. So we understand that you may have sensitive information or that you don't want your customers or supporters to transmit. In those cases, you should obviously provide appropriate direction to your customers, supporters, clients, or audience. But as much as possible, allow people to keep their phones on. Make it clear that you welcome them sharing their thoughts of your presentation or content, and make it easy for them to do so. Provide them with hashtags, Twitter handles, etc. Tip number 3, don't you ignore mobile technology. Almost all phones manufactured today have a camera and messaging tools that you can use to capture and share the personality of your organization. The volume of images and video being taken and shared every day is staggering, offering a clue to just how much communication has become visual. In addition to taking pictures of new items you've got in stock, of your employees interacting with customers, of your customers having a great time at an event or fundraiser, or videos of your organization supporters at that event, your phone can be a gateway to the social networks that you choose to use, make it easier for you to connect to your followers and audience. And the most important thing to keep in mind with respect to mobile technology, experiment, and experiment some more. You'll learn what works and what doesn't for you and your supporters. Quick review. Now, we put a lot in front of you today, and I know, but don't worry. You're going to be hearing more from me in the future about mobile, and we're going to be here to help you as you figure out how to make mobile work for your small business. So let me just review some of the things I want to make sure you take away from this presentation. First, I tried to make it clear that you can't ignore mobile anymore. With almost a third of Americans getting to the internet only through their mobile devices, and close to half of all email being opened on mobile devices, And only 3% of people reading those emails and then doing something with them on a desktop. Sorry, 30. It has become increasingly clear that the behaviors of your customers, your supporters, or potential customers and supporters is moving them to consume information on mobile devices more and more. If you want to connect to your audience, you're going to have to incorporate mobile into your thinking. Small businesses and organizations are seeing mobile as a tool that can help them run a more successful business or nonprofit. And they're just jumping right into the world of mobile, testing and experimenting, figuring out how to leverage mobile to help people find their products, get or share information, and to let supporters or customers help tell their story through images and etc. Finally, we gave you a lot of tips to keep in mind as you start to think about how to make mobile a part of your communication strategy. First, have more focused content. Use single columns, layouts, make it easy for people to click on the links or buttons that you create for them to take action. Use the largest fonts reasonably. Don't forget to test on yourself and your devices first. Be careful with image use. Be sure to visit local searches like Yelp or Yellow Pages, claim your listings, or better yet, use a solution like Single Platform to manage your presence on multiple listing sites all at once. Finally, encourage your customers, supporters, attendees, clients to use their mobile phone when they're in your shop, at your event, after a client meeting. Let them become a part of the voice of your organization. And don't forget the power you hold in your hands with a mobile device. Take pictures and video, post to social networks when you're inspired. In short, start to make mobile a part of your professional life and your thinking, and you'll be off and running. Now, to claim your free trial, well, we're not at an event, so you don't have anything to fill out. But I will be sending you a follow-up. You will get a copy of this presentation. And if you skip the trial, and I will pay for your first month. I will PayPal you for the first month. The plans do start at $20 a month, but I am paying $33.79, and that's for the first month of the Essential Plan. And I will email you the code so that you can get 30% off of your first 3 months. So you're going to save even more. And I am going to pay for your first month if you sign up and do this before June 30th. And I will also include coaching. I am dedicating the next month to helping everybody. I have a Facebook group dedicated to constant contact and email marketing, and we're off and running to a great start. I've got several people set up already, and they are kicking butt, learning. And I will provide as much helpful information as I can. And the added bonus is you're going to get help with eBay as well, because I'm not eBay. Email marketing complements your eBay business. So for those of you that are eBayers, I am here to help you too. So take it for a spin. It's normally $45 a month for the Essential, and you'll get it for $33, but I'm going to pay for the first month. And then you'll be off and running. If you don't like it, you can cancel it. No big deal. Here's the breakdown, and this is why I think Essential is the best deal, because you get to add it with your, you get to add the autoresponder, and you get to have the unlimited campaigns, and that also includes marketing your Facebook page, and there's a lot that it enhances. So again, my name is Danna Crawford. You can find me at powersellingmom.com, And until next time, I'm looking forward to hearing shout-outs from you. Now the hottest thing is Periscope. That just rolled out. So follow me on Periscope. I try to throw out some fun little clips now and then on Periscope as well. And I will be doing a presentation on it as soon as more information is available. So when new things roll out, I'm right there. I'm trying to learn about it as much as I can so that I can teach others and help you as well. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate that you guys took the time, and I will stop the recording now and then prepare it for distribution.